Sounds good, right? Nope, not an import. It's homegrown, made in India. It is a performance car you and I can buy. In fact, if I had to put my money on a Tata car right now, I'd buy one of these. And if you call yourself a true blue enthusiast, a pakka petrol head if you will, you should too. Here's why. Now JTP says that the Tiago and the Tigor can do 0 to 100 in under 10 seconds. Tell you what, let's find out. Sport mode engaged, build the revs, and off we go. Wheel spin into second at 40, 5.5, 6,000 RPM, 80 into third, 90, 100. That was 10 seconds, right? It is properly quick, and that's because JTP has ditched the 1.2 litre 3-cylinder naturally aspirated petrol motor and gone for the 1.2 litre turbocharged engine from the Nexon instead. But it is running more boost, there's a bigger intercooler, the air intake has been revised, and there's less back pressure on the exhaust. Now that means it makes more power compared to the Nexon at 114 PS, but torque is capped at 150 Newton meters. Now when you put those figures alongside the roughly 1000 kilo curb weight of the Tiago and the Tigor JTP, you will find that power is plenty. The best bit, there's power everywhere. For example, you can be in third at 20 and pull in the same gear all the way up to 100 kilometers an hour. Now this means you don't have to downshift every now and then if you want to overtake that car in front of you. You simply have to dance out of your lane, step on the gas, and let the engine do the talking. And when you're pushing it hard, you're treated to that sweet induction noise, and there's the throaty exhaust in the background at all times that also spits every now and then. The best bit is that when you lift off, when you want to upshift, the blow-off valve dumps all the boost and you get to hear a sweet sounding sound. So I wouldn't really blame you if you drove this car hard and fast just to listen to that blow-off valve. Now what we really like about this engine is that it is quick to rev up, and that means it is not just a straight line monkey. You bring it to a lovely set of twisties and it is going to reward you. Now if we talk about suspension, yes, there have been some revisions there. Both the Tiago and the Tigor JTP sit about 4mm lower than the standard car. So ground clearance isn't altered all that much, and that means you don't have to worry about scraping the underbelly or anything on those broken roads or potholes. But where you will find a significant difference is when you really start pushing the car. The JTP, well, both of them, they ride flat at highway speeds and they feel a lot more eager to be dunked hard into a corner. Then there's the steering that's happy to play along. It's quick and there's enough feedback on the steering that will let you have some fun around the twisties. But if we calm down for a bit and discuss what is exactly different. So the way the steering weighs up as you gather speed, that's different. You'll feel the steering on the JTP cars to get a little more heavier compared to the standard cars. And I have to give a special mention to the Apollo lakh 4G tires that these cars are running. They never really broke grip unless we really pushed them hard. But this does not mean that the JTP cars are taxing to drive on a daily basis. The steering is light enough at city and parking speeds, so you won't get tired driving it every day. The suspension too doesn't make the cars feel overly stiff or bouncy at any point. It manages to deal with the potholes and broken roads just fine without upsetting the cabin. It is definitely a very nice balance, and even if the JTP was the only car in the house, you wouldn't have an issue. You can drive it day in, day out. Okay, let's pause for a bit and talk about everything else that's been put together to make the JTP a JTP. As you can see, you will instantly recognize the cars as a Tata, but you will pick on their sporty personas quickly as well. All the changes to the design, they're not just for show. Form follows function here. So if you look at the larger apertures on the grille or the bigger air dam, that is to let more air into the engine. The vent on the hood and on the fender, they're meant to help take the heat away from the engine bay. Now if you look towards the side, you'll spot contrast colored elements on the roof and on the wing mirrors. Now, these cars are running a set of sweet looking 15-inch alloy wheels as well as side skirts, and when you come over to the rear, you'll spot a diffuser and dual exhaust disc, because why the hell not? Bits like the sharper looking bumper and the smoked out projector headlamps help add that sense of power to the design. It looks like a performance car should. Wait, people need to know you're driving a special car, right? So there are JTP badges. Here, here, and here. And the badging fiesta continues with more JTP branding on the speedo console and the seats. The cabin isn't a dual tone anymore, it's all black, and the red accents and stitching do a lot to liven up this place. Now JTP says they've paid special attention to how a person feels when they're in the driver's seat. So smaller details like the thickness, the diameter of the steering wheel, the feel of the gear shift lever has been very well thought of. And on the whole, yes, the cabin does feel like a sporty place to be in, and it does complete justice to all that power under the hood. As far as the equipment is concerned, you do get quite a lot of kit for the money. There's a touchscreen infotainment system, steering mounted audio and call controls, parking sensors and a detailed MID. The Tigor additionally gets automatic climate control, a reverse parking camera and a rear central armrest. On the safety front, you've got dual airbags, ABS and corner stability control. Now, if you're considering the Tiago or the Tigor JTP, bear in mind that the cabin is pretty much identical in terms of space and practicality when you compare it to the standard car. You get the same amount of storage spaces, the same amount of room whether in the front row or in the rear seat, and the same amount of boot space as well. With the JTP cars, Tata seems to have hit the jackpot. These cars are absolutely fun to drive, they look smashing, and you can use them day in, day out. Yes, there are minor hiccups here and there, like the ergonomics might take some getting used to, but that is such a tiny fault that I can't really hold it against the JTP cars. And before I tell you who should be buying the Tigor or the Tiago JTP, I'll tell you who shouldn't. If fuel efficiency is a big concern, if you're worried about the rising cost of petrol, or if you're treating the JTP as a new top spec version looking at more features, this is not for you, because this is a pakka performance car. It gives you accessible, usable, sensible performance. So if you wanted nothing more than a fun to drive pocket rocket that would put a smile on your face every single time you reached out for the keys, the Tiago or the Tigor JTP are right up your alley. Okay, that's enough talking. I'm going to get myself some more drive time. See you later.